Hey everyone, Cerebral Tackle back again. A few days ago I posted a close-up picture of a fish's belly on my community tab. I wanted to show everyone that a positive fish identification can be made even with just that little bit of information available. I asked people to put in the comments section their guesses, and there were some good guesses. We're going to go through them one by one until we get to what the fish actually was. So, before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, and let's get ready to identify this bad boy. A popular guess was that the fish is a crappie, which isn't bad based upon some of the information, but a closer examination shows differently. Let me tell you why. One of the reasons why a crappie is a solid guess is the relation of the pectoral fins to the pelvic fins. The pelvic fins on this fish are located ahead of its pectoral fins. That's the same with a crappie. A crappie also has the pelvic fins seated ahead of the pectoral fins. So there's one box you can check for crappie. However, the spots on this particular specimen, they're kind of in horizontal rows, not in vertical bars or randomly spotted like, let's say, on a black crappie. So that's one check mark against it being a crappie. Crappie also have elongated anal fins, a much longer anal fin. This fish has a shortened anal fin. So you add that into the equation and, well, we can be pretty sure it's not going to be a crappie. These next guesses I'm going to lump in together because the fish are so closely related. It's the guesses of the white bass, the striped bass, and the wiper, aka hybrid bass. Decent guesses for the following reason. In the fish we're looking at, you'll see the horizontal kind of rows of spots that extend down towards the belly. That makes this guess a decent guess. However, in this particular specimen, the spots go a bit further down the belly than we would see on a striped bass, a wiper, or a white bass. Also, if you look closely on this fish, you'll see the spots actually go clear down to the anal fin, which they're not present on the anal fin of a wiper, striper, or white bass. Like I stated before, the pelvic fins on the fish we're looking at are seated ahead of the pectoral fins. On a wiper, striper, and white bass, they're actually seated behind the pectoral fins. So as we add this information together, we can kind of see that a wiper, striper, white bass is not going to be the case either. Technically, the closest guess without being correct is the largemouth bass. But as we'll see here, the largemouth bass, while it can have some spots kind of scattered below the lateral line, never this many, never this organized, and never extending this far down onto the belly, let alone the anal fin. So while it's close, it's no cigar. So the largemouth bass isn't going to be it either. The next guess was for a blowfish. No, not a blowfish. I'm not sure if the person was joking or not. Now, this fish does look like he ate a blowfish, and I can promise you this fish is not a resident of the state of Ohio. And no, those weren't weights in his belly either. This fish was very aggressively, actively feeding on a ton of small fry in the area, and we had watched the fries scatter several times before I decided to throw right in on top of the pile. So, what was he? Well, in the comments section there was only one guess that was correct, and the person knocked it out of the park. First, we have those rows of spots that extend far down the belly and even to the anal fin. Second, we have those pelvic fins that are seated ahead of the pectoral fins. Then we have that shortened, much smaller anal fin. With this limited information, it can only be one thing: a spotted bass, aka a Kentucky bass. Now, if you'd have been able to see the full picture, you would have also seen that the fish's jawline extends up to, or just maybe up to the middle of the eye, but not past the eye. These critters also have that beautiful orange to deep reddish eye. Largemouth bass will have teeth that are just inside the lips on the top and the bottom. Kentucky bass have those as well. In addition, though, they have a small tooth patch located on the center of their tongue, something that largemouth don't have. Like I've mentioned before on a couple of the other examples, there's that tiny little anal fin. Spotted bass have a much smaller anal fin than a lot of other species, so there's that. So there you have it. This first specimen, the pesky little Kentucky spotted bass. These guys are super aggressive, and if you get into one, you usually get into a school. They're a ton of fun to catch. So congratulations to the only viewer to get it right, Ellen McGriff. Thank you, Ellen. You hit it out of the park. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and if you guys want more of these fish ID challenges, let me know in the comment section. I personally think they'd be fun, but I want to know what you have to say. So I appreciate you guys viewing. Like, share, subscribe on the way out the door, and until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Get out there and keep it wet.